What is a lease option? A lease option is where I'm renting the property to you or leasing the property to you. You move in as a tenant, but you also have an option to purchase the property or a purchase agreement in place. Now this purchase agreement or this option may not expire for 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years from now. But basically, the basics of it is you are a tenant in my property and you have a purchase agreement in place or an option to purchase in place. It's as simple as that. So in the eyes of the law, at least in Michigan, you are still my tenant. Right? You are not the owner, you are a tenant. And landlord-tenant laws apply. A lease option, similar to a land contract, you get a down payment, and generally it's a non-refundable down payment. Land contract, it's 100% non-refundable. A lease option, there have been some cases where judges have considered down payments as deposits and awarded them back to the tenants. It's very uncommon. I wouldn't really be too concerned about it, but just know that there's that risk there. But generally, with a land contract and with a lease option, you're getting a down payment. The down payment on a lease option is your good faith consideration for the purchase agreement, not for the rental agreement. So don't get those mixed up. They both have a monthly payment, and in my market, if I'm doing a lease option or a land contract, the monthly payment's probably going to be about the same. Okay, in my market, I don't really get a premium for selling in a land contract versus a lease option. Now, I might get a little bit of a premium over a rental. If I'm renting it, you might be willing to pay a little bit more to own the house than rent it. But they're all about the same in my market. Ownership. I still own the property on a lease option. Okay? So if there's a code violation on the home, or if the sewer line gets backed up and the basement's filled with sludge, whose responsibility is it to fix that? Right, it's my responsibility. Now, it might say in my contract, my lease option contract, that it's the buyer's responsibility to take care of that stuff, that's academic. That's what they teach you, and they tell you that you can enforce that. But I'm telling you, when you're standing in front of the judge and you have a ticket for having a basement full of sludge, you are on the hook. You don't fix it, you're going to jail, okay? And I know this because I've been there. And so, just in general though, a lease option agreement, your tenants will take good care of the property, and they understand that they're on the hook. But when it comes to court, the judge is not on your side. Well, I'm in what do you call it, a blue state or a red state? I'm not sure which one it is, but it's a tenant-friendly state. So I don't want to go in front of the court. I'm going to take care of it before I go in front of the court. If I know I can't get away with it, I'm not going to go there. I'm going to fix it. Okay? Maintenance. So lease option, we just talked about this. Generally, on a lease option, you want to pass the burden of maintenance on to your tenant, which usually works out. In the case of big capital expenditures like roofs and sewers, things like that, I've usually found out that my tenant doesn't have $4,000 extra to replace the sewer line or $3,000 to replace the roof, and I have to make a business decision. Do I want to fix it, or do I want to enforce my contract and make them fix it? I know they can't fix it. I know they don't have the money. So ultimately, I'm going to be on the hook to make those repairs. However, little things here and there, I enforce it. I say, look, this is a $200 fix. It's your responsibility. You fix it. Also, we have rental inspections in my cities. Most of the cities I do this in. So I'm on the hook for making sure that home passes code. A lot of states don't have rental inspections. So God bless you guys. You don't have to deal with that, but I have to. And I could always get the list of code violations, send it to my tenant, and say, you fix these, because it says in our lease option agreement, you have to fix these. But do you think I want to have code enforcement come out there again to inspect, and they find out the tenant has botched it all up? And then guess what's going to happen? They have to come out again later, and I'm going to get a ticket. Okay? So just keep that in mind. Taxes and insurance are my responsibility on a lease with option. Hopefully, the monthly payment coming in covers that, but it's my responsibility to pay them. And I get the deduction for them. And default, lease option, in almost all cases, if they default, it's just a simple eviction. Unless they go to court and challenge it and say, look, I made a down payment, I have equity in this property, generally you're not going to have to deal with that. But it's a simple eviction in most cases with a lease option. Whereas a land contract, you have to foreclose. or forfeit it. I'll talk about that.